Welcome to Reflections from the Prayer of Recollection. Today,
I'm so sorry, you can't see the crucifix.
It's very sad.
what's in the way? Close it? There
Yeah.
it is.
There's the
Do you want me
crucifix.
to move it? Ow, my hair. Sorry. You pulled my hair, woman.
Sorry. There. Today is June 17th, 2020, and we are looking at John 8, 1 through 11. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah!
That timing, though.
So good. Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives. The locust just started. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Hear that?
Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple. A crowd soon gathered, and he sat down and taught them. As he was speaking, teachers of the religious law and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery.
That's awkward.
That's awkward. They put her in front of the crowd. That's awkward too.
Different kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say?
Stoner. That was me.
Okay.
I need this.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, yeah. They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down.
I knew that it was going to say
She
it
did.
before it said that.
She did. We read the verses one at a time so she doesn't know what's coming next, and she's like, oh, I'll bet they're trying to trap him, and then
And
she
then
was
they were trying
right.
to trap him. Who knew?
But she didn't
Me.
see this coming. But Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger.
That's never happened before.
What do you mean it's never happened before?
Jesus never does that.
Yeah.
He was being like passive aggressive. He's like, I can't even deal with you right now. Come back later. And he's like, do not disturb me.
And they leave.
He goes back in the back of the car. He goes backstage.
They kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned be the first. Throw the first stone. There we go.
Then he stooped down again and picked up a stone.
It doesn't say that. He could.
That would be pretty funny though. That would be.
He could have. He's the only one who'd never sinned. Then he stooped down
But there is
again.
a reason why he should not. We'll tell them later.
Then he stooped down
At the
again
end.
and wrote in the dust. When the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you? No, Lord, she said. And Jesus said, neither do I. Go
Pay attention to the camera.
and
Sorry,
sin no
you're
more.
dripping.
All right, Anna,
That's all. That was a short one.
that was a short one.
No, it's just short because we didn't stop and talk in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them
That's
about
true.
the governor thing.
You tell them about the governor thing.
Basically, the governor really didn't like it when people stoned people without permission. So they're trying to trap him so that if he said you should stone her, like the law said, they go tell the governor and be like, he said to stone her, and then Jesus would get in trouble. But then, if he said don't stone her, then they'd be like, you don't believe in the law.
Yeah.
That was the dilemma.
Yeah. That was one trap. And then another trap we read about in another commentary said maybe they were trying to trap him by knowing that he would want to uphold the law fully, but then at the same time, he was also kind of a friend of people who
Like
were
outcast.
outcasts and sinners,
Like the woman who had 5 wives. The woman at the well.
4 or 5 husbands.
Same thing.
And
It all comes to the same thing.
And they thought he might make an enemy one way or the other. Like if he says you don't have to stone her, then then they basically have a reason to write him off and say if he's a heretic, we're not going to follow him.
Tell them what a heretic means.
I think a heretic is someone who like goes against the law, is like a rebel against the law and says you don't have to follow the law and do what it says. And
You know what a heretic is.
we do. And so, on the other hand, he was friends with all the sinners and the people who, had done a lot of bad things, and he would have kind of made them turn against him. So that was another possibility of how it might have been a trap.
Levi!
Yeah, Levi.
Levi's my man.
Love him.
He's so sweet.
Yeah. What else are we going to talk about from the commentary?
What else did we read? What else did you like?
Well, the part I really
What
like.
did you like?
I really like the part where he said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more." That
Neither do I condemn you.
neither do I condemn. Yes, go and sin no more.
Oh, you're blocking everything.
No.
But Jesus came alive in the crucifix.
Oh no.
Just get the camera a little. There you go. See, all you need is a little different angle, and then everything's perfect. Learn from me, because my angles are so good.
She's into the angles.
I always have everything. Subscribe and ring that bell.
Mhm.
Hey, Linnea.
Thank
we
you.
love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are the best. We love you.
This is
You are
Commented and
first, the
subscribe.
one, the only. We
This
don't know
is
if you
a
subscribe.
shout out.
Shout.
We think it
We're
was you
shouting.
who subscribed. Shout out to Linnea.
We think you're our
Yeah.
5th
One
subscriber.
of our
5th or 6th?
5 subscribers.
Wait, I thought we had. Oh no, we had 4 before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5.
So anyway, I really like the
That's
part.
20% more. We increased by 20%.
20% increase.
That's pretty good. Remember when we had no subscribers?
Yeah, and you were
No,
my first one.
I try not to. Oh,
So when Jesus,
we were so inexperienced.
can we talk about Jesus now?
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you need to talk about our subscribers
About our angles.
and how good
Hey,
we
you
are?
brought a Villanelle
I'm
thing.
sorry, that was totally out of the blue.
We had to though.
But it was a nice thing to say.
It was so nice.
Okay, continue.
So when Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more," he could say that because he was going to go to hell so that she wouldn't have to be condemned. He could say that, and at his own cost. That was the amazing thing. That's very cool. I love that.
I also like that he said, "Go and sin no more,"
Yes.
and he didn't just say "go."
Yeah, he didn't just say go.
Yeah.
It said
Yeah. You didn't say it's like go and do more adultery.
he did not say that.
I like how when he gains followers, he gives them a new life.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about the author, Anna.
Oh. Okay, read him that quote.
Okay.
I mentioned this yesterday.
Yes, this is a recap
But you
from
guys
yesterday.
maybe don't remember that or haven't seen it.
The text says, right before verse 53, the most ancient Greek manuscripts do not include John 7:53 through 8:11, which is what we're reading is in that section completely. Go ahead, Anna. Okay, I'm going to tell a story first.
Okay, I'm watching.
Okay. So Anna knew that this was not in the original text, right?
I accidentally saw a verse at the beginning.
So she accidentally peeked and she saw a verse that said, which one was it?
It was neither do I
Go and sin no more. It's what we were just talking about. She said, go and sin no more.
I moused it to Martha so Corey didn't hear it. I said, guess what one I saw?
And then, did you say that sounds like Luke?
No, well, I said that we were talking about how that doesn't sound like John. I said maybe this you accidentally printed out a page of Luke. Maybe
Yes,
this
because
is
I just
Luke.
printed out our new pages,
This
the
is
rest of
Luke
the chapter
8.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, maybe you printed out Luke 8 instead of John 8, because it says go and sin no more.
I'm like, he would not say that.
So you probably have caught on to the theory we're working on, and one of the commentators said it. Anna kind of stumbled onto it on her own. We found it in the commentary, one commentary also.
Big brain.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking this may have been written by Luke.
I'm really very strongly thinking
We
that.
really think so.
I basically am not very doubtful about that.
Let's give them all our evidence.
Evidence number 1, it was in none of the original manuscripts according to them. Evidence number 2, John has never written a good chronological story in his life.
This is not how John writes it all. You guys, this would sound like if John wrote this?
His stories are all sham-bambled and you never know what's
Well,
going on.
and it doesn't talk about the God sent
There's
me.
no repetitiveness.
God sent me, and that I am. Eat of me, and you will have life, and then you will be risen. You will rise. I will rise you up on the last day.
It has the Luke theme of the Pharisees trying to trick Jesus.
Yes.
It has the Luke theme of repentance. So the themes in Luke were repentance
Yes.
and faithfulness.
That's right.
That's what we decided. The Mount of Olives, you tell me your Mount
Yeah.
of Olives.
So look at the first clause in 8:1. Jesus
If
returned.
you have it in front of you. If not,
I'll
we'll
read it to
to
you.
you. It's
Jesus-
your lucky day.
Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, and then the next part says, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple. That is very Luke. Luke is one of the only Gospels I've read and we've observed that talks about Jesus' solitary time, which seemed like it was a lot at the Mount of Olives. It almost seems to me like he went there every night and had time alone with God. I don't know if he went by himself. I don't know if he ate dinner there. I don't know if he slept there.
I was going to spur his strap.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was going to.
Anyway, so that, starting Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives. John hasn't mentioned the Mount of Olives once yet.
John has not mentioned the Mount of Olives.
Yeah. So that was another one. Here, Anna, the phrasing about the religious leaders. Here it is.
This is 6. This is not 1. We have 5.
Okay.
5.
We're on 6 now.
The teachers. It said the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees in verse 3. John has never said those words once in his whole life.
That we remember.
He always uses different weird words. He never says teachers of religion and the Pharisees. He uses like religious leaders. He calls them just the Pharisees. Other things, other non teachers of religious law and the Pharisees things. That's in a lot in Luke, and we haven't gotten to any of the other Gospels, so I can't speak for that. But Luke definitely said that.
So,
Finish it like 3?
what?
Didn't we finish reading it like 3 minutes?
Yeah, we're just talking now.
Oh,
So you know what? We think this was Luke. We think this was Luke. We really like Luke. And plus, like Anna said, this is just a story. There's no theology talk. There's none of this.
No repetitiveness.
Like, yeah. Is it just a story? Just a plain good story?
Finally.
So
so refreshing.
Luke.
Anyway.
Okay, we're done with that.
Okay. We're over it.
We're over that. Okay, I have a little meditative thing I want to do. Does anyone else want to have any other comments that we've learned from the commentary, or Chloe's ready to be done? You want to hand it over to Anna to be the grip now? Chloe's not being tired, I think. She's being our grip.
Yeah.
We love you, Chloe. Oh, we love you. Okay, we're ready for our meditative moment. We're going to look
do you
now.
still want to be in the...
Yeah, I just got the grip.
Oh, Anna's going to have to work her arm. Work the arm magic.
Remember the one time we had a vlog that was
Did
like
we
that
do the
for a
whole
while?
vlog?
No, not the whole
No,
vlog.
we just did
Here, I'll move the candle back to the other spot.
Yeah, there you go.
Over
There you
here.
go. Mm-hmm.
See where I'm going?
I get it. I
See
got
where
it.
I'm going with this?
I got that.
And then Chloe, you go down. You can even be
Wow, what an honor.
under here if you want.
Hi.
Aren't they so cute? Oh, I love those.
Do we
so
look
much.
like each other?
Yeah, you do kind of
tell us,
actually.
Tell us in the comments down below.
Yeah, you guys say what you think. Do we look like each other?
Do we look like each other? You tell me.
Okay, are we ready for a meditative moment? Everyone ready over
Yes.
there? Okay. We're going to look at the end of verse 7, kind of one of the pivotal statements when Jesus says, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." So one of the commentaries we looked at talked about how we should be, it said, as concerned, I would say more concerned with our own sin than with the sins of others. That when we cast judgment on them, we're also casting judgment on
How
ourselves.
can you look at a stick in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? What is it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a speck.
Speck!
Yep.
Speck in your friend's eye. Got a little lost in translation in my brain.
The ant translation.
I had that memorized when I
So-
was young.
Yes,
And
that's
I
right.
I lost a little.
So we should be more concerned about our own sins than other people. And I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but I can speak for myself. That's something I really struggle with. And people who know me probably know that I do tend to I wrestle with judgmentalism, although God's helping me with that a lot. We're on the growth path, but that's my natural
on the growth
tendency.
train. Choo choo.
We are on the growth train. So I don't know if you resonate with that. I bet there are a lot of you out there who resonate with that too. So
I think everyone, it's easier for everyone to notice problems in someone else than in yourself. And when you see problems in yourself, you're like, it's the circumstance. And when you see problems in someone else, you're like, it's what's on the inside. I don't know where I heard that. Maybe from Martha.
I don't know where. I don't think that was me. Probably some video you watched.
I don't know.
So for our first meditative moment, if you have your journal, pull that out, or you can do this out loud, or as Anna would prefer to do it in her head. Actually, Anna would prefer to do it out loud with someone. She said she likes to do it in her head, but that's not true. She likes to talk out loud to people, just not to herself.
I like to do it. Yes, I don't like to talk out loud to myself at all.
That's, yeah.
You're the same?
And if you're driving, don't crash your car, as usual.
Maybe don't get out your journal if you're driving. You do it out louder in your head if you're driving, or if you're with someone, you guys can do it
if
together.
you're a passenger in the car,
So take this meditative
maybe you can
moment.
write it down for your friend.
Lean down your meditation sign. When it's time to start meditation after I say this.
What do you want it to be? Hold up your hand. Stop. I don't like it. I can't get my arm around.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
Okay.
But we're not there yet.
Okay, we're
We
not.
have to give you the
Ignore
meditative
the meditation
prompt.
sign.
Okay, so that's just, we're prompting you for the prompt after the prompt. Okay.
You're just making it more confusing.
So, I know. So, so think about this. Think about your life when you're feeling judgmental of other people, noticing faults, flaws, criticisms in your mind, those kinds of things. Try to get your mind there to where you are when you're feeling and thinking that way, okay? And here's what I want you to do. Write down or speak or think bad attitudes, emotions, and behaviors that you have when you're in that critical, judgmental mindset.
Say it to your friend if you're driving. Have your friend write it down for you.
So we're going to take this moment and we're going to have you pause.
This is boring. I don't like the pause sign.
Okay, you can come up with a better one. Welcome
I
back.
don't like having a sign.
Welcome back. Well, maybe just a word. I don't know. Whatever.
Pause is the word.
Pause is the word. Okay.
Go ahead and pause is the word.
Now there's a second part to this two-part process. And this one is, if you were freed by Jesus from this judgmentalism.
Freed by Jesus.
We have another song.
My Ebenezer. Verse 2. Pray to Jesus.
I like it. So if you were freed by Jesus, now what I want you to think about is, what would this be true? What would your life be like if this were explosively true in your life? This freedom from judgmentalism, condemnation of others, and
I'll go
critical
up here.
thought. So now make another list in your mind or your paper or your out loud, your person you're with, of things that what would your life be like? Attitudes, emotions, behaviors if you were freed from judging and condemning others. So go ahead and pause.
I did it anyway.
You did it.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Was that Byron Katie?
That was my new twist on Byron Katie.
Do you want to plug a little Byron Katie here?
Sure. This is a merging of what Anna and I originally
That's on
learned
my arm.
from Byron Katie, the inquiry. We told you about it last time.
A couple times ago.
However, I've been listening to Timothy Keller and some talks on affective prayer, and these are questions that I pulled out of some of his meditation thoughts for affective prayer, and I've made it
some
in
Timothy Keller.
yeah. So I've made some of the Timothy Keller stuff into a Byron Katie
Where
format.
did you get your Timothy Keller from? Tell me about that. If they want to find it.
Yeah, I'll have to put a link. He's done quite a number of series on meditation, which is the process that he describes to internalize scripture into yourself and as preparation for prayer.
I haven't done it. I'm just doing a hand gesture. How I imagine it might be.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I will try to find the specific
Too far.
sermons that talk about this. Like I say, he's done them. He really wants his church to think about meditation and get involved in it, so he revisits it many times over the years. And so he's got a number of good ones, but I'll try to find the specific one where he does these questions. I think I know which one it is. I think, if I remember right, it's called Meditation How to Start, I believe. So anyways, I just want to I'm just going to do a little self-disclosure, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my lists look like as you're also contemplating, because you don't have to stop thinking about this after this conversation or during this conversation. You can continue thinking about it when you have brain time. Let your mind keep coming back. You're going to keep finding stuff, and the more you think about it, the more Jesus and the Holy Spirit are going to help you go deeper and deeper into it. But here's some of my things. When I'm feeling judgmental, I feel annoyance. I feel superiority. I distance myself from them, and I distance myself from God. I go into my own ego boosting, and I feel disgruntled. I could probably have gone on, but those are some of them. If my life were freed from judgmentalism, I would be, instead of feeling those things, I would feel joyful and accepting and loving and playful and humble and connected to
Those
God.
are good things. That's like when you have your month off.
And
I'd like
connected
to
to others.
clarify that hand is not coming out of the top of my head. Yes, it is. That is Chloe's hand.
No, it's Anna's.
So,
There's her arm.
so it's interesting to just spend some time meditating on these two lists. Like, what is life like that? And what could life be like without that if Jesus heals you? And if you just keep meditating on these
Did I
things.
say like your month off already?
You just briefly said it.
That'd be like your month off.
It would?
Yeah, how you felt playful and happy. Joyful all the
Was
time.
it?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Remember how much you liked that when you month off?
Yeah, that was good.
If you guys are
month off.
overworked, consider having a month off. Martha had a month off earlier in the year,
Mm-hmm. I did.
and it refueled her. And she felt good.
It was pretty amazing, insightful experience too. So, if you ever want to talk about it, let's grab a coffee or a Zoom call.
Send her an email. Or
My
leave us
email
a
address is
comment.
on the homepage of coloredcarnations.com if you want to send me an email. But you probably know me. If you're watching this, you probably know me. I'm probably in your contacts.
But someday someone might see this who's not.
Sure. You know how to find me, coloredcarnations.com homepage. Okay. That's all we have for today, right, lovely ladies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, we love you guys.
We love you. We love you. We love you.
And we praise you, Jesus.